Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री Gurave Namaha. We are in Vivek Chudamani, 537th verse. Maybe we have to start from 538, but look at we'll look at this 537th again. Just to recap, it says we are looking at the final advice by Adi Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj to the students, and also to that student who has come to be established in his own essential nature, who has realized. So his final words of advice to him. न खिद्यते नो विषयै प्रमोदते न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः. He is neither miserable nor happy, neither attached nor detached when he comes in contact with the objects. He is ever content and fulfilled by the blissful self, and ever sporting with himself remains blissful. Na khidyate. Khidyate means no grief. No vishayai pramodate. Neither he gets excited or happy when the objects come or don't come that he likes or dislikes, So neither he gets miserable, neither he gets happy. So what is he now? He is equanimous. His mind is equanimous. His mind is balanced. Only a balanced mind is witnessing. If the mind is hijacked by joys and sorrows, remember the Genesis. Joys and sorrows, sukha and dukkha. Here, khidyate and pramodate. Khidyate is sorrows, miseries. Pramodate is the joys, excitements. So, sukha dukkha, joys and sorrows are produced due to, they are the result of likes and dislikes. So we must learn, if that is the case, then we have to learn that we should move through the world without creating likes and dislikes. Accept everything as it is. Don't create attachment to anything or detachment to anything. Detachment, though you must in the larger sense, but don't create attachment. Attachment can be to I like this, or attachment can be I don't like this. See? And these lead to the joys and sorrows that is told here. Na sajjate napi virajyate cha. Neither attached nor detached when he comes in contact with the objects. Today one boy called me, whom I have mentioned few times. He is a Westerner. Was a drug addict, not anymore. So he was telling, that Swamiji, I'm all the time I am in that. I feel as if nothing is affecting me. I'm watching, but yet I'm not watching. I'm perceiving everything, but yet I don't feel that I'm doing it. So what is this? See, these are his words. So what is that? That I am perceiving everything in the world, but I don't feel that I am perceiving it. Experienceless experience is the nature of the self. That is what you are even right now. Perceiving, perceiver less perceiving, knower less knowing, experience less experiencing, hearer less hearing, taster less tasting, and so on. That becomes the norm of a person who is abiding in the truth, who has got out of the gravity of the mind, has taken a position wherein the mind is unable to hijack him anymore. Who is the mind able to hijack? Who are the joys and sorrows able to hijack? Who is that person who the likes and dislikes hijack, emotions hijack? It is the I. It is the I. And this I, with studying Vivek Chudamani, has come to recognize that it is not worth falling into the trap of all these. And how does the I come to realize this? He starts analyzing. Simple. How does he start analyzing initially? Hey, the world was there. The weather comes and goes. The day comes and goes. I don't make it happen. The body is growing from childhood, teenage, youth, middle age, old age. I did not make it happen. It is growing by itself and getting old by itself. Disease comes by itself. Hunger comes by itself. Thirst comes by itself. Bladder pressure comes by itself. Hiccups come by themselves. Cough comes by itself. Eyes blink by themselves. The breath comes in and out by itself. Similarly, this I comes to realize through assessment, through understanding, that emotions also come by themselves in a particular situation, but they don't stay. Thoughts also come by themselves. You don't create the thought. They come, they pop up in the mind. And if you don't do anything to it, it goes away. And if you do something to it, still it goes away. The problem is when we get attached to the thought, we get attached to the emotion. That's when the downward spiral begins. That is called the Khidyate and Pramodate. Both are downward. Excitement is also downward and misery is also downward. Why? Why did I say excitement is also downward? Because it is temporary. After every joy there is again a lull. Again the joy goes down, the excitement vanishes. That's why addiction happens. You take alcohol or you take drugs. If you climb one mountain, oh yeah, I did it. So we climb Kailash every year. Why? It gives us a sense of accomplishment. We are in that zone. But we are in that zone within ourselves. We don't have to go anywhere. And that drug, that alcohol quietens your mind and you get into that zone where you are watching everything. It's so amazing. It is so freeing that you want to repeat that experience again. So you again go back to the alcohol or the drug or the mountain, and again and again and again. And a point comes where you are unable to live without it. Then you are uncomfortable when you are not in that environment, when you are not ingested uh, uh, liquid spirituality or the drug. Till then you will not feel, because you are expecting, you want that particular experience again and again and again. But here, what that fellow is experiencing here, this fellow whom I'm talking about, before he used to get it due to drugs, now he gets it by self contemplation. And he's telling me that. And it's not an experience. What did he tell me? That I am perceiving the world, but I feel I'm not doing anything. It is happening. See how beautiful? So there is no ownership. Ownership of thought, ownership of experience, ownership of knowledge leads to doing something. And doing, we do anything in life only to enjoy the fruits of it. So that cycle has to be broken. And the way we break the cycle is by coming back to our essential nature. And penultimate is, one step before that is, to be the witness of that which is going on of its own accord. We are not doing it, it's happening. As I just mentioned, all the things from the outside world till the thought, everything is happening. But somewhere erroneously we have started come to this conviction out of ignorance that I am thinking, I am seeing, I am feeling, I am waking, I am dreaming, I am sleeping. Everything is happening. In the deep sleep, you have got no thought. You automatically are awake in the morning. And at this moment, if you want to sleep, you cannot sleep. Sleep will come when the time is right, when you are exhausted. When you will be exhausted, if I continue the talk for 3 hours, you will go to sleep. Enough, Swamiji, enough. Got it. Spare us. See? So, न खिद्यते नो विषयै प्रमोदते न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं. Then what is he doing if he is not living in the ups and downs of the joys and sorrows, and he is not living in the realm of attachment and detachment? Then what is this I doing? What is it doing? Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. Swasmin sada kridati nandati. Kridati, playing, nandati, enjoying. With what? With itself. Aha. How beautiful. It's sporting with itself. It's enjoying itself. See? Both ways. So it's now not dependent on anything or anyone. Put it again under two categories. It is not dependent on any possessions, nor it is dependent on any relations. Now, such an I, such a person, such an individual, he is sporting with himself, in himself, as himself, and enjoying the bliss. Which means this I, which has detached, it has got separated, it's not caught up in the thought, breath, mind, intellect, or body. Now this I is sporting with itself. It is enjoying itself. How? Without any thought, without any experience. Therefore, it is experienceless experience. See how wonderful it is. And that is our true nature. We are shortchanging our happiness by concluding in our daily living that only if in the morning I get the tea from my wife, or if I make the coffee for my wife, then I'll be happy. This is the grahasti sukh. If I make the dosa, it is soft. When my wife makes the dosa, it is crisp. This is grahasti sukh. No. This self is self-dependent. Such a person, the one who is mentioned here, Swasmin Sada Kridati Nandati Swayam, such a person can never become lonely. He has learned the art of being alone. Majority of the people, today we see some news from India, in Australia, where people are committing suicide, people are unreasonably angry, the domestic violence is increasing, alcohol is selling at maximum, it is become an essential commodity. See, why? They have not learned. They don't enjoy their own company. They want the company of alcohol. They are not content with what life has presented them with. They want more, and why am I locked up? How long this coronavirus will go on? And blah, 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 blah. And then all that frustration, I'm not able to get out of the house, I'm not able to do what I wanted to do, and this and that, and I can't start my business, I lost this money. Now how will it all happen? How will we come back up? And all that frustration then comes out as destructive behavior. Why? He is not happy with himself. See? There are two words, alone and lonely. Those who have not learned to negotiate through the mind and go beyond the mind, they become lonely. And those who are equanimous, those who are content with themselves, even in a crowd, they can be alone. They don't need anything or anyone. See, for us it's a boon. How many? March, April, May, June, 3 months now. Wow. 3 months of hardly any driving, only few places, not much. Sitting in one place, whole day is at our mercy. Enjoy your own company. I only come out for maybe 1 hour in the afternoon for lunch, and half an hour, 45 minutes before this class for dinner. Normally I used to eat afterwards, but now early, because I don't want to sleep on an empty full stomach. Otherwise I am in my room. What are you doing in your room? Why should I tell you? Sleep. If someone asks, yeah, I am sleeping all day. Lazy bugger, yeah, I am lazy, I am sleeping. See? So learn to be with yourself, by yourself, without anyone, without wanting attention, without giving attention. it's an art, it's a knack. Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. How can you do it? Chant the Lord's name, sit in meditation. See, those people who are not able to live with someone, who want attention from someone or something. I have lost this, I have lost that, I have lost the job, I have lost the business, I have lost my partner, I have lost my health. But are you alive? Are you alive? Yes, I am alive. That is the biggest boon. Everything else can be taken away from you. But the greatest asset, that I am alive. What does it mean that I am alive? Come back to yourself. Good opportunity. Because nothing happens in this creation which is just like that. It's not a coincidence. Everything is happening to bring us back to ourselves. All situations in our life are coming only to remind, only to push us, prod us, for some kick us to come back and fall back into ourselves. Everything is there to only to remind us of this. See? Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam nirantarananda rasena truptaha. See, the other way to look at it is the previous part, Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. Recognize. See, I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not. Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguruhu Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My Lord is the Lord of the world. He is the same. It's like the wave saying, the water in me is the water which is pervading the whole ocean. It is true. Mad Guru Shri Jagat Guru. The Guru principle within me is the one Guru principle for the whole creation. I think in the morning class on Sunday I explained it through example of existence. And the third one, Mad Atma Sarva Bhutatma. So the Atma, the self that I am, is the all-pervading self. So how will you, if you take the previous position that you are separating from everything and coming back, it is okay. But if you want to sport in yourself, because there will always, you might feel, oh my God, now suddenly out of meditation you are coming out, and from the deep contemplation you are coming out, and you don't want to come out. Just like when you wake up in the morning from a deep sleep and you don't want to open your eyes because you know the whole world is waiting to devour you, to attack you, to demand from you. Then the job is calling, then the brushing is calling, then the toilet is calling, then the shower is calling, breakfast is calling. One after the other, it never ends till you get tired at night. So you, for those few seconds or few minutes, the moment you wake up in the morning, the sleep is over, eyes are closed, and you know you are awake, you don't want to go out. Same thing happens in meditation also. You don't want to come out until and unless you don't realize this. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. So the self that I realized, that I know that I am, is the self that is all that there is the same self in you, in her, in him, is the same self. It's like the wave saying, Mad Atma. What is the Atma? What is the self of the wave? Water. And it's saying, the self in me, the water in me, is the water of all the waves. It is true. It is true. And it is not a conclusion. Your mind can never understand this statement. It is appreciating it. But what is its purport? What is the depth of that statement? What is the experience that the water in one wave is the water of the entire, all the waves? For that, the wave has to give up its waveness. Similarly, Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. This individuality that I have, I keep contemplating that the self in me is the self of all. And in that deep contemplation and being available to that all-pervasive principle, which is my essential nature, somewhere along the way, by the grace of the Guru, by the grace of the Lord, the individuality vanishes. Individuality vanishes. When the wave looks within, when it is looking out, it looks at a form. But when it looks within, what does it find? Only water. It doesn't find any form. An ornament, when it looks out, it looks at a form, maybe the form of a ring, form of a bracelet, form of a necklace. But when it looks within, it finds only gold. Same way, when we look within, Madatma, the self in me, when I keep exposing, keep becoming available. And how deep is the water within the wave? Question. How deep is the water within the wave? See, everything stops. You can't think. Same way, what is the scope of this self that I am? Only scriptures give us the word. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. So when I dive within, how deep do I go? Where does it end? It doesn't end, because that's all you are, infinite. Where does the water end for the wave? Oh. This is the fun of contemplation. But we have to approach it not seriously, joyfully. Here it says, Swasmin Sada Kridati Nandati. It sports such a person who is not caught up in joys and sorrows and miseries and joy, happinesses, attachments and detachments. Then what does he do when he is not caught up? Because all these joys and sorrows and attachment and detachment is only when we are living objectively. Only when we are living objectively. And I already explained what is objective. Thoughts are objective, emotions are objective. Anything that we can experience is objective. Anything that which comes and goes is objective. So this fellow is not objective. Then what does he do? If he is not involved in the world, is he a lazy fellow? Is he a good for nothing fellow? Is he a vegetable? No. Such a person, he is continuously sporting in himself and enjoying himself. And whether that fellow is within, such a person who has established in himself, then even if his eyes are open, even if his mind is thinking, it doesn't matter to him, because he understands the self within me is the self which is the material which has gone into making the thoughts, the emotions, the body, the breath, the world. Everything is made out of the material called the self. How does he know it? Without a thought. Don't try to work it out with the thought. It will not be able, you will not be, it will not be possible. This experienceless experience is from within, without. Our interaction here is from without to within. We are thinking, we are interacting, we are listening, we are speaking. This is all happening in the outside, and we are, by the grace, we are going in. Our attention is being prompted to go within. But this Madatma Sarva Bhutatma, this is from within, without. But when that happens, it is only for the name's sake. When we say Madatma is the Sarva Bhutatma, it's because people say there is a world. Just like I say, oh, this space inside the house is the space which is pervading the whole world. So same way, the self, that which is within, is the self of the whole world. In this way, and then Nirantarananda Rasena Truptaha, Nirantara, continuously. Ananda, he is continuously, just like a small kid, you know. What does a small kid, when is he in bliss? When he is continuously sucking his own thumb. Nothing in there. But he is going on sucking the thumb. He is enjoying, he is in bliss. Or you get those, what do you call them? I don't know. You guys have kids. What are those things called? The nipples with honey inside or something. Dummy. Those dummy. And you try to pull it out of the mouth of the child and it will cry. Why? It's enjoying. But that's the child. Because it feels that someone is taking it away. This seeker, he is continuously Rasena, Ananda Rasena. He is continuously sucking on the self, if you want to use that word. He is continuously enjoying the self. He is continuously established in the bliss of the self. And therefore, ever content. Truptaha. Truptaha is contentment. That contentment which comes from within does not require an agency in order to become happy or content. I am content when I have 2 houses. I am content when I have that Mercedes or BMW. I am content when when my children do well in their careers. But my benchmark of contentment keeps getting postponed. Then I'll be content are you fine? Now everything, you got the car also, you got the house also, you got the investments also, you got the children also who are doing well. Now, no. Now, actually I am content, but when my children when I become a granddad, then I'll be content. So you have postponed your contentment. Then when that child becomes, grandchild is born, no, now this child also, I pray to God to give me long life so that I see my grandchild do well, and then again it will get postponed. Then I want to see my grandchild married, then again it will get postponed. Then I want to see my grandchild become a parent, and I'll become a great parent. Where does this bloody end? Where does this end? Enough. This person, Ananda Rasena Truptaha, he is content. This is in yogic language, it is called Khechari Mudra. Khechari Mudra, in very, very physically speaking, the yogis, the tongue, below the tongue, they cut that and they keep pulling their tongue so that it becomes longer. And as it becomes long, they turn the tongue and put it into the nasal passage. And and they keep trying to reach up till here, till the third eye. And as they are practicing, somewhere, as the purification takes place and focus comes about, the nectar, the immortal nectar, it starts trickling down from the third eye inside. And the tongue, once it tastes that, from that moment on, hunger, thirst, the joy of the outside world becomes zero, because you have tasted something more divine than anything that this world can offer you. This is just at the physical level. Like many saints and sages in India, when you read their biography, to some people I have told, I can mention that to you also. There is a YouTube channel called Bhakti Ashram by Swami Devdas Ji Maharaj. It's in Hindi. And not one, not two, hundreds of saints, he is giving 20, 30 minute a biopic of each Mahatma that has come in his life, or he has come to know about from his gurus or on his travels, or in various other texts and books. Wonderful. Just go into that channel, Bhakti Ashram, and you will enjoy it. Ananda Rasena. So, when all these saints, why am I telling you to listen to all these stories of these saints? They were all established in this Nirantara Ananda Rasena Truptaha. They were ever content in the you can say ecstasy of the self, in tasting the self, being the self, in the bliss of the self. न खिद्यते नो विषये प्रमोदते, न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च, स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं, निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः. Next verse, 538. क्षुधां देहव्यथां त्यक्त्वा बालः क्रीडति वस्तुनि तथैव विद्वान् रमते निर्ममो निरहं सुखी. क्षुधां देहव्यथां त्यक्त्वा बालः क्रीडति वस्तुनि तथैव विद्वान् रमते निर्ममो निरहं सुखी. Just as a child forgets Kshuda forgets his hunger and body problems when he gets a toy and is engaged in playing with it. Similarly, the wise, free from the limitations of myness and I-ness, revel in the blissful self all the time. When a child is crying, what do? Put the dummy in his mouth. Or distract his attention. Or give it its favorite toy. And many times the child has got nothing. He is lying on his back, he catches his own toe and puts it into his mouth. And he is happy with himself. Huh? And it goes on for some time. Playing with himself. But as we grow up, we forget to play with ourselves. We want someone to play with. We want something to play with. And when you come, by God's grace, you come on the path of spirituality, again the scriptures tell you, be like the child. Arey yaar, then why did I become a grown up? See, if I had to become a child, why did I become a grown up? Well, that's the journey. That's the journey. Be a grown up but childlike. That's what Mahatmas are. Mahatmas are realized masters are balavat. They are childlike. There was one Mahatma Ji by the name of Narayan Das, I think. And when Akhandanand Ji used to eat food, even as a young boy or as a youth, in his 20s and 30s, he was a realized master. But he used to see something. He used to act mad. But when he is eating food, only Akhandanand Ji Maharaj, he will come and sit in front of him. And he'll keep watching him, how he is eating food. Other people said, oh, he's gone. He's lost the plot. He's cranky. They will try to push him out of the hall. But Akhandanand Ji always said, no, leave him alone. Is he troubling you? No, he's sitting with me. And that person, that Mahatma, nobody had seen him eat any food, only used to eat from Bhiksha. But he used to eat from the plate of Akhandanand Ji Maharaj. So these are childlike. I am talking about childlike. So it is not just childlike. See, the more our individuality dissolves, then with the children we are childlike, with the teenagers we are ha ha hoo hoo, with the grahasthas we are like them, that we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to, and with the old ones, when they are always complaining, I got pain here, pain there. The Mahatmas also say, oh, I got also pain here, I also got pain there. So they are comfortable with all ages. But they tend to spend more time with kids rather than grown-ups. Childlike. There are three ways that the scriptures tell. Balavat, Unmattavat, Pishachavat. Childlike, drunken-like, and ghost-like. This is how they move around. So here in this particular verse, Kshudha is Kshudham deha vyatham tyaktva bala kridati vastuni. Bala kridati. Child plays with toys. When he plays with his toys, he tyaktva, having given up. What having given up? Given up the kshudha, hunger or thirst, and deha vyatham, and any bodily pain. What does the child know about body pain? Oh, it knows. It gets stomach cramps. It gets, when the tooth is coming, they get the gum pain. And lot of children have the gas pain. See, as the teeth are coming. So they have their own challenges, but they are not able to express it to anyone. We go straight away to a doctor, get a tablet and try to sort it. What will that child do? And we know only one solution. Put a dummy or give a toy. Distract that fellow. Similarly, tathaiva vidwan ramate nirmamo niraham sukhi. Just like that child, vidwan. Here the word vidwan is mentioned for the wise ones. Tatha eva, just like that, the wise ones also ramate, they also indulge, they are also engaged in nirmamo niraham. Nirmamo, nir without, mama mine, and nir aham again without I. So there is no I and mine. When I wants something, it says that is mine, this is mine, wife is mine, husband is mine, children are mine. Who says? I say. Only someone can say no. The house is mine, the investments are mine, the body is mine, the health is mine, the ill health is also mine. Where did it come from? See? So, dissolution of individuality, which this master has, which was told that he is sporting in himself and enjoying himself and continuously drinking the bliss and thus content like a child. This Mahatma, and what is his disposition now? He is without ahanta and mamata, without I and without mine. Remember when we went to India trip this time, when we went to Vrindavan, there is one great Swami. If you get a chance to go to Vrindavan, meet him. Swami Govindanandji. He was a doctor, and he used to take care of Akhandanandji when he was not well. For almost 10-12 years he took care of him till his end. And we all went and we said, Swamiji, tell us something, give us some wise words that we can go away with. And that time he said one statement: with the body, serve the world, considering it to be divine, Lord. Serve. With the mind, love everything without a reason. With the intellect, do not create hatred towards anyone. With the eye, in Hindi he said, aham se niraham ho jao. Aham se niraham ho jao. Meaning, from I, be the one without I. The I thought is born in the mind. And you also know that when I say, I am listening to you, Swamiji, I am hearing you, I am seeing you, I am seeing you. I am seeing you, I am hearing you. So I is born when it is interacting with something, meaning it is owning, it has created an association with the image on the screen. The ears have created the eye through the ears has created an association with the sound that is coming. So that eye, when it goes through the eyes, it becomes the seer. When it goes through the ears, it becomes the hearer, and so on in every experience. Aham to niraham means seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, thinking, everything is going on. But no erring personality is born. No seer, no hearer, no toucher, no taster, no, that person is not born. Why? That fellow has separated and gone back, recognized that he is the all-pervading one. See, when you start living, get fired up with these ideas, then it is called living. Otherwise, the same breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Same waking dream, sleep, waking dream, sleep. What is new? But when you get on fire, hey man, this is fantastic. What would be the experience like that? Is it possible that that seeing is taking place? Remember that fellow who called me today. He says, Swamiji, I am perceiving everything is perceived, but I don't feel that I am seeing. It is happening. He's there. He's there. And this is the natural state for you, me, and every one of us in this world. All we have to do is recognize, that's all. That we are the one, in spite of the thoughts, in spite of the objects, in spite of the body. And when you take that Madatma Sarva Bhutatma, then you will not be obsessed with this body, because you are everywhere. Does anything happen to this principle of light? You know, our ego is like this light. The Atma, the self, is like the electricity, and the bulb is like the body. So, electricity passing through the bulb, only then light is possible. Light cannot come through the bulb from the bulb itself. Electricity must pass through it. Similarly, until unless the body is not thrilled by the Atma, by the self, life cannot express. I cannot express. I is life for you and me at this moment. But because one bulb is fused, does anything happen to the principle of light? Does anything happen to the principle of light? The bulb is fused, light continues. See? So light, what is this light? Is there anything called light? Question. There is electricity and there is bulb. But is there anything called light? No. Then what is this light? It is, what is that?
Absence of darkness.
No. Absence of darkness, true, that is in general sense, but I am talking in this example where electricity is passing through the filament in the bulb. So when the light is expressing, but that light, you can catch the bulb, correct? You can catch the bulb, you can experience the bulb, you can put your finger in the socket and experience the electricity also, right?
But we can't see the light.
But we can't
See the light.
catch the light, isn't it? We can't catch the light. We can't catch the light. So this is a phenomena. Electricity is there, bulb is there, but the expression of the light is phenomena. Understand? And it's exactly the same way. Self is there. We feel at this moment, body is there. And the phenomena called the ego is expressing. The Chidabhas, the reflected consciousness. Whether you call it reflected consciousness, whether you call it ego, whether you call it jiva, one and the same, little bit here and there, in the same. So that is a phenomena. So this student, this kid who was calling me this morning, he says perceiving is going on, perception is happening, but there is no perceiver, Swamiji. I don't feel that I am doing anything. It's all happening. Exactly the same way, when a person becomes the wise man, tathaiva vidwan ramate nirmamo niraham sukhi. He is blissful all the time. Why? Because he is free of the I-ness and the my-ness. And in this manner, so that Mahatma said, aham to niraham. So that's what reminded me about Swami Govindanandji. And he didn't say that it is his statement. He said Akhandanandji used to say that. See? So in this way, Kshudham deha vyadham tyaktva bala kridati vastuni tathaiva vidwan ramate nirmamo niraham sukhi. The more the ego, the more the miseries. Lesser the ego, lesser the individuality, lesser the ownership, lesser the doership, lesser the memories, the happier the person is. And you have this daily experience. When you go to sleep, all these things that I just told you are all absent when you are sleeping. That's why you are happy. That's why you get rejuvenated. Now imagine, just imagine, living in that rejuvenated state, that blissful state, consciously 24/7, 365 days a year. Is that a goal worthy to be pursued? Is it a goal for which we are ready to sacrifice all our possessions and relations? In the mind, drop all attachment and with that. See? But you have to be fired up with that. That man, that bliss which I experience in the sleep, I can experience like that bliss some deep contentment throughout the day, even while everything is going on. How is that possible? This is how it is possible. You have to work towards it slowly and steadily. Accept yourself, not as the ego, not as the roles that you are playing, not in Panchadashi language, not as the Gaunatma, the virtual self, the various roles, husband, wife, brother, sister, not that, not as Mithyatma, not as the body, that I am this body. You have to delete that out of your system. Then as Mukhyatma, that I am the conscious principle. And how is that conscious principle? Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. That conscious principle is not only within me, it is all pervasive. And for this, I think I gave you the example last class. Just like the mind is all pervasive through every person, birth, death, inert objects, living people, their thoughts, their emotions in the dream. And you say yes, because with the dream you can say yes, you have woken up from the dream. So when you look back at it, that phenomena, yeah, it happened in the mind is pervading the whole thing. Yeah. Exactly the same way it is pervading the mind, the self or the mind is pervading the entire waking also. And we are losing the plot by getting attached. We are losing the plot by taking ownership. So here it is told, give up mamata and ahanta, give up I-ness and myness. Now what is the tune for this? In the 439th verse, Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam panam saridvarishu. Got the tune. I was thinking I will not get it. Got it. Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam. Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam panam saridvarishu swatantrena nirankusha sthitirabhihi nidrashmashane vane. Once more. Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam panam saridvarishu swatantrena nirankusha sthitirabhihi nidrashmashane vane. Vastram kshalanashoshanadirahitam digvastu shayyamahi sancharo nigamantavitishu vidam krida pare brahmani. Vastram kshalanashoshanadirahitam digvastu shayyamahi sancharo nigamantavitishu vidam krida pare brahmani. Let's chant the whole thing together. Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam panam saridvarishu swatantrena nirankusha sthitirabhi nidrashmashane vane. Vastram kshalanashoshanadirahitam digvastu shayyamahi sancharo nigamantavaitishu vidam krida pare brahmani. Krida pare brahmani. What does he say? Let's read first, then we'll take the... For the wise knower of the truth lives on food received through alms and the waters of the rivers without any worry or a sense of incompleteness. They live in total freedom and without any control of do's and don'ts. They never suffer fear on account of anything. Therefore, they are able to sleep happily, be it a forest or a graveyard. Their clothes have no expectations of washing or drying, as the four quarters are their clothes. They remain naked. Their earth is their bedding, and their movements are participation in the theme of Vedanta, and they sport in Parabrahma. Chinta shunyam dainya bhaiksham ashanam panam saridvarishu. Chinta shunya, free of problems, free of issues, free of tutu meme. Chinta means worries. Worries only come when you expect something. He has stopped expecting anything in life. Why? He is abiding in the self, which is all that there is. Once the wave realizes that it is the water, then from that moment onwards, will it have the competition, comparison with other waves? Will it have the fear of death, of dashing against the shore and going out of existence? No, because now I am the water. Will it have the fear of getting evaporated? Will it feel that so many drops from the skies are coming and they are purposely giving trouble to me, I am only for such a short life and continuously this rain is not stopping and it's troubling me. Imagine, it's the water falling. Wave is also water, but it is feeling troubled by the droplets which are falling on it. You are the self, the world is the self. And you are feeling troubled that someone has taken away your money, someone is using you, someone is demanding time from you. It's the divine playing with divine. And that divine, you are, I am, we are. In fact, we can't say you, I and we. Only divine exists. Because in that ocean, whether it is drop, whether it is wave, whether it is tide, whether it is tsunami, whether it is ocean, it is all water. But that wave has taken a position that I am only this much. And it is seeing the drops coming from the sky. Oh, I must have done some bad karma in my life. That's why I am getting buffeted by the droplets from the God, in the sky. I must have done some bad karma in my last life. That's why all the people are coming to me. All the problems are coming to me. All the failures are coming to me. I am not a doormat that every drop comes and takes advantage of me because I am there. Get out of this thinking. Start thinking everything is the self. Then this ego which maintains a sense of otherness, it creates the difference. This is because the ego has decided and come to a conclusion that it is only this body. That is why it creates that difference. Melt this form by diving deep into yourself, by contemplating on these type of thoughts. Atma Kridati. Here, स्वस्मिन् सदा सदा क्रीडति नंदति स्वयं निरंतरानंद रसेन तृप्तः. Just take this verse and keep contemplating. You will vanish. Just like you vanish when you think of sleep every night. But you have to apply. It will not happen by itself, even though it is happening. चिंता शून्यम शून्यम अदैन्य भैक्षमशनम. So, Chinta Shunya, he is not worried about from where the food is going to come from, where the water is going to come from. Today it has become a fashion. If you notice, I don't know if you notice. Everyone, wherever they go, they carry a bottle of water with them. Bottle of water. Probably you have a cup of tea or a cup of water. Because we have been brainwashed into thinking we have to drink 8 glasses of water. I have to keep myself lubricated. Arre Baba, how much lubricated? Huh? So we are afraid. If I get thirsty and I don't have water, then what will you do? Like when I go to 1,000 steps, these kids come with me and they say, Swamiji, you are not, nowadays though you can't drink water there also because everything, because of coronavirus is, they have sealed everything, all the taps. But I don't carry any water. They say, Swamiji, you are not carrying. I said, I want to be free, Baba. I can't be walking up, huffing and panting and carrying bottle also with me. No, I can't do that. Then what about thirst? I said, you're carrying the bottle. No, I'll drink it from your bottle. What if I don't bring? Then I'll ask someone else. How does it matter? Live in abandonment. Explore the potential. You see? But we live in the fear of getting thirsty, we carry bottles. In the fear of getting hungry, then we carry some snacks or something in the car. In the fear that what will I do? We carry some money in our pocket or credit cards. In the fear that I don't become a beggar in the later stage of my life, so we collect money in the bank accounts. A wise man lives in abandonment. His life is about giving. His life is about satsang. His life is about sharing. His life is about serving. Serving what? Serving the creation. He is not going and searching whom to serve. But he is ever available if someone comes. He is ever available to serve, give his time or her time, be available to listen to others, and ever reveling in the thoughts of the divine. Nirantara ananda rasena truptaha. He is ever in that disposition. So this Mahatma, this realized master, this wise man, Chinta Shunya, he has got no worries whatsoever. No, because there are no expectations from life. There is no expectation from the world. Why? I am the world. Madatma sarvabhutatma tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Mad Guru Shri Jagat Guru. The Guru in me is the Guru of all. The Self in me is the Self of all. The God in me is the God outside. It is not just for mere chanting. It is for realization. These are the pointers. And the wise man has realized it. He is established in it. And therefore, he has no expectation. If he wants food, he goes and in today's language they will say begging, but it is called bhiksha. He goes and asks. And there are masters. If you read the biography of Ramdas and Sharananandji, Swami, when Sharananandji was there, he was blind. And at a young age his parents passed away. He was a great master towards the turn of the century. Not this century, past century. No, not past century. Around 1930, 40, 50, around that time. And his parents passed away. Now what to do? And he found himself in the company of Naga Babas and Sadhus. And he listened to satsang here and satsang there, and he was given some food and he ate. And one day, while he was see, if you are blind, you have got no idea how the world looks like. Born blind. And one day, when he was walking with his stick, tuck, 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 one person went and pushed him. And he fell. That person did not do it purposely. But in his mind, the thought came, I am blind, but this person who pushed me is not blind. Couldn't he see? This poor me who's walking with a stick without any eyes. And then some people who were walking by, they lifted him up, gave the stick in his hand, and he kept walking. And this time, while walking, he bumped into a tree. Now who is he going to blame? See? And that became eureka for him. So first it was blaming other people. Can't they see that I am blind? So there was a heen bhav. There was a feeling of that I am lacking in something. I am not complete. That poor me. That attitude was there. And the moment he bumped into the tree, he said, "Arey, the tree did not come to me. I went to it." And from that moment onwards, he stopped feeling bad for the way Lord had created him. That was the eureka moment for him. And one day he was walking by and by the river Gangaji or somewhere, and he slipped and he fell into the river. Can't see where to swim, what to do, doesn't know swimming also. Then what to do? He said, Lord's wish, and he kept himself loose. And the waters of the river, because he kept himself loose, the waters pushed him on the side, and suddenly some people said, "Arey, someone has fallen," and someone came and pulled him out, and the stick which was lost, someone else brought another stick and gave it to him. He said, "Lord, you are so great." Then just remember one or two events, and then in the later years, one day lot of sadhus decided, let's go to Himalayas. I don't know if anyone of, let me see who is there. Some of you may have gone to Himalayas, the Kedarnath, Badrinath, Yamunotri, Gangotri, Gomukh Glacier and all those places. Uttarkashi, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Rudraprayag, Vishnuprayag, all those places are there. It's about a good 1,500 kilometer distance by the time you cover everything, maybe more, 2,000 by the time you come back. And all of them said, oh, Guru Sharana. And Sharananandji was very well established. Established means no ashram. And people said, no, Swamiji, we will take you. We are young. We will take care of you. And they started. And they crossed Rishikesh. They started moving upwards. And somewhere along the way, Sharananandji became sick. They waited for 1 day, his sickness will go, 2 days, sickness will go, 3 days, sickness will go. But his fever will not become less. And after that, because their desire was to do the Chardham, in those days there were no roads, there's no buses, you have to do walking. So they all said, oh, we have to do our Chardham. You don't mind we go? Sharananandji said, okay, you go, leave me to my... And eventually, one by one, the entire gang of sadhus, they left him alone in one dharmshala, in some wayside place, to recoup by himself. And he did recoup after 1 week or 2 weeks. And when he became okay, he said, but I have already started for Chardham. Now it is up to the Lord to make it complete. And that blind Mahatma, blind from birth, he completed the entire Chardham all by himself, and the guidance was the God. And he said, never in that trip, never in that complete, he went walking, he says, nowhere, because there are so many valleys, there are so many crevices. If you, sometimes you just walking on that path and you take one step and you are back down into the Gangaji 2,000-3,000 feet below. But he said, when I was on the land, people used to bump into me, I used to bump into the trees. But this Char Dham I did, not one time I fell down, not one time I bumped into a boulder or the mountain or a tree, or I slipped and it was danger. No, God guided me. It was as if I could see where I have to go. And nowhere along the way did he ask for food. Food came to him. See, this is faith. This is faith. This faith we need. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. The self within me is the self of all. Then this fear, then this chinta. From where am I going to? See, when I was in the ashram studying, at that time, before going to ashram, always few $100 always in my pocket. I was working. So I have never seen time in those days that when some cash is not in my pocket. But in the ashram, when I was asked, so you want to become a brahmachari or you want to go back into grahastha life? Are you taking the initiation? Now I don't know, yes or no. Inside felt yes. But the questions are coming. How will I live? How will how will I survive? How will I do this? How will I do that? And I looked at Swamiji. And all Swamiji did was one wink. One wink. And I said yes. Because he knew me better at that time. He knew what was the ardent desire within me. See? And from that day onwards, whether there is money or no money, whether someone calls for food or doesn't call for food, It does not matter. Somehow the Lord takes care. Because the entire creation is nothing but Lord Maya, Ishwara Maya. Anyway, we'll continue this verse next week. It's already 9 o'clock. Beautiful thought. It's as if all the nichod bolte hai na, the essence of everything is coming together in this. I can say that the same thing about every verse, but here it is something special. So contemplate, read again what is given there, listen to it again. It will be on the YouTube. And contemplate, contemplate, contemplate. These are the pointers for you to go back to the real you. These are not just for keeping the mind entertained. But even if you do that as an entertainment, somewhere it will click. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I will request everyone, those who have, we have a Wednesday class group, Thursday class group, Saturday class group and Sunday class group. So if you are attending these classes, please send me an SMS 0410698650 saying that please add me to these groups, because sometimes if I am, for some reason I cancel the class, how do I inform you all? Some of you I don't know what is your number, and let me see who. Yeah, some of you I don't know. So send me the SMS so that I can add you to those groups. I will make sure that no junk posts are put on those groups. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.